So good morning, everybody, and welcome to SEAT's annual press conference. Thank you for joining us here today, whether you are here at Casa SEAT in the heart of Barcelona or following us online. I'm really pleased to announce that we are joined today from Volkswagen Group's headquarters in Wolfsburg by Thomas Schmal, Group Board Member for Technology and Chairman of the SEAT Supervisory Board. Good morning, Thomas. Thank you for taking the time joining us here today.
Good morning, Spain. Good morning, Wayne. It's a pleasure to join you for the SEAT annual press conference.
It's great to have you here, Thomas, particularly on this very special day for SEAT, but also I think for the whole Spanish economy, since the Spanish government has just announced last week that they will open the PERTE for the automobile industry on the 1st of April. And I think that this PERTE and the use of the next generation EU funds offer a unique opportunity, not only for recovery, but to transform the Spanish automotive industry towards electrification. This, I believe, is an historic opportunity, not only for Catalonia, Spain, but also for the whole of Europe. And I think probably you're the best person to talk about the activities of the Volkswagen Group related to the PERTE. Over to you, Thomas.
Thank you, Wayne. After the announcement last week of the ambitious Spanish transformation program PERTE, we will confirm and we will formally submit an application for the PERTE program in the next days and weeks. We will electrify Spain. This is a big chance for the country and the Spanish automotive industry as a whole. If comprehensive investment support and further promotion coming up with the PERTE program, it's finally confirmed that the Volkswagen Group would be ready to mobilize with the framework of our Fast Forward project. And now listen really carefully, more than 7 billion euros together with external suppliers. With this investment, we will electrify our Material and Pamplona plants for sure, this is clear. But additionally, we will build up an electric battery production value chain, Wayne.
Yeah, I think this is fantastic news. Obviously, a huge, I think, historic investment for the country. And it also shows how committed the Volkswagen Group is to SEAT and Spain. Now, Thomas, over the last months here, there's been a lot of speculation in the media. And I think in the last 12 months, every interview with the media here has started with the question, where is the battery cell factory going to be located into Spain? So I don't know whether you could shed any light or reveal actually where the battery cell factory will be located in Spain.
Yes, Wayne, before I will reveal that, I think Spain, I need to clarify that, will be part of the whole story for the program we have. We will build up in Europe 6 gigafactories only for Volkswagen. This is a demand roundabout for 240 gigawatt hours. The demand for our premium cells will be delivered by Northvolt from Sweden. The start of production is 23. We founded a separate company entity in our group to speed up the upcoming cell factories for Europe. And to keep the option and integrate further partners, this was necessary. The center of gravity and the blueprint for all following cell plants will be Salzgitter in Germany, close to Wolfsburg. This will be our blueprint, our center of gravity. All the stuff we will try, we will first start there and then have a rollout all over Europe and the world. But now the surprise and the good information for Spain is that the first upcoming plant out of Germany will be in Spain, as you know. And concretely, we are planning to locate our Spanish cell factory in Sagunto, Valencia. Of course, all plans are still subject to final approvals. We need first the final approvals of our submission. Yes, as you told, we did a huge selection process based about more than 100 criteria, including workforce, infrastructure, logistic. Green energy is important for a cell factory, as you know, public support and framework conditions. But I would also like to take the opportunity to address all candidates and thank them for the efforts and attractive proposal. It was really a pleasure to talk all to you in Spain. We have really fantastic proposal out of Valencia all over the country, but finally we decided Valencia. Valencia made it on top of the list due to the numerous available assets important for cell factory. The good logistic connections we have with the harbor, the highway, the universities, the housing structure around, because we need a lot of speed in this project. The production capacity in Valencia will be in the final version 40 gigawatt hours annual. And we will employ more than 3,000 people in the factory in the future. We would build up in Spain nothing less than the next generation of cell production. A standardized factory, upwards compatible to latest innovation. That means all future further innovations, if you come to next generations of cell technology, we can build in Spain also. Producing Volkswagen unified cell concept, this is an important part to be partner in the framework of the Volkswagen Group. A standardized cell format able to carry all chemistry that are market ready. A plant being supplied with renewable energy as a part of comprehensive ecosystem in charging and energy management. Together with strong partners and a sustainable local for local approach. A plant creating a pulling effect in the battery upstream value chain ecosystem. And one of the reasons why we decided also Valencia is because we need to start the production in 26. And if you need to start production in 26, that means you will see the first ground movements in Spain in the end of the year. But the first milestone must be the positive outcome of the PERTE submission and finalized permission rate.
Yeah, Thomas, thanks for the great news. I think it's great news not only for Valencia, but for the whole of the country. And we here at SEAT are ready and prepared to submit our application to the PERTE. I think securing the PERTE funds is essential if we want to realize our ambition of turning Spain into a European electric vehicle hub. The Future Fast Forward project has the potential, I believe, to transform the Spanish automotive industry and democratize electric mobility across Europe. So, Thomas, what are the main challenges for the Volkswagen Group with this project?
Yeah, Wayne, the first challenge is for sure the speed we need in the project to ramp up 6 plants all over Europe in the next 5 years. This is a huge challenge. The transformation is a huge challenge for sure. The competitive in the new electric world is different. We need raised productivity in a lot of existing facilities we have in our Spanish car production. And we need to qualify many out of our people for the new task, for the new content, for electrifying Spain, including battery development and production. The calls for a lot of flexibility by everyone and a possible change of the jobs. But the important news is the overall effect on employment out of this huge transformation will be positive. Despite the faster assembly times in electric car manufacturing, we'll build up capabilities with additional value added in Spain. As I told, transformation always implies change. If we do this right and get right support by the Spanish government, we can in total create more competitive and sustainable jobs in the transition of Spain. Bottom line, the project is important for Volkswagen, for Spain, and whole Europe, Wayne.
Yeah, thanks, Thomas. I think we're clearly aware here at SEAT of our responsibility leading this project for the Volkswagen Group, and also that the impact goes beyond Spain's borders and across the whole of Europe. But we are up for the challenge, believe me. I think to give everybody a sense of the scale of the project, the more than 7 billion euros the Volkswagen Group would mobilize for Future Fast Forward, I think would be the single largest industrial investment in Spanish history. Thomas, thank you for your trust and the trust of the Volkswagen Group that you're putting in SEAT and Cupra and Spain.
Wayne, muchas gracias. Sorry for my bad Spanish. Congratulations to you personally for your effort you did for this project and for the whole power team, SEAT and Cupra in Spain. Thank you.
Gracias, Thomas. Y hasta pronto. Thanks, Thomas Schmal, for being with us. Ladies and gentlemen, before I start to present 2021, let's take a look at some of the company's highlights last year. So before I begin with my overview of 2021, I'd like to start presenting two new members of our board, David Powells, Vice President for Finance and IT, and Vice President for Sales and Marketing, Kai Vogler, who joined the company last year. I'm also really happy today that the company's union representative, Matias Canero, Presidente del Comité de Empresa, has joined us here today. Thank you for taking the time, Matias, on this historic day to be with us. Ladies and gentlemen, to summarize in one sentence, 2021 was not the year we expected, but I think we certainly made the best out of it. After working hard throughout 2020 to adapt to the challenges of COVID, we were optimistic at the start of last year. However, the global semiconductor shortage prevented us from achieving the recovery we had planned for. The situation limited our production and our ability to meet the high demand for both SEAT and Cupra products, which returned to pre-pandemic levels. In total, we manufactured 25% less cars than we had planned for in the whole year. This inevitably impacted on our financial results for 2021, which we'll hear more about from David Powells in a few minutes. It also led to frustration amongst customers who faced extended delivery times, and we really are working hard and doing our best to meet their expectations and deliver every single car we can. That said, 2021 did have its highlights. Despite the semiconductor shortage, the company's sales grew, deliveries to customers grew by 10% from 427,000 to 471,000, driven by Cupra and the demand for electrified models. Due to this increased volume, the company's turnover also grew by 5.4% and exceeded 9.25 billion euros. And we made a great effort in terms of sales and optimizing our mix. We managed to grow our market share in Europe, achieving 3.6% for both SEAT and Cupra. And the Cupra success story continued, with the Formentor leading the way. The brand Cupra last year tripled its sales, achieving 80,000 sold cars, and the turnover more than doubled from 932 million in 2020 to almost 2.2 billion for Cupra in 2021. And Cupra now accounts for almost 25% of the whole company's turnover. In the European markets, Cupra performed particularly well in Germany, Spain, UK, Italy, and France, as well as in Switzerland and in Austria. In the overseas region, Mexico, Turkey, and Israel also performed very well. In November, we launched the Cupra Born, the first 100% electric car from Cupra, marking the beginning of our electric offensive with the brand, and already winning all comparison tests against all other cars in its segment. We revealed the Cupra Urban Rebel concept, our radical interpretation of the urban electric vehicle, which will come to the market in 2025, proving that electric cars don't have to be boring. Last year, the Cupra brand won over 30 international awards, most notably scoring a hat-trick at the German Autobild's Goldenes Lenkrad and 2 Best Car awards from Auto Motorsport. The Cupra Born has even been it was even shortlisted as one of the 7 finalists in the European Car of the Year Awards. And this was the second consecutive year for Cupra following the Formentor's nomination in 2021. Now, in terms of our network and distribution strategy, we've accelerated our Cupra City Garage rollout plan, having opened hotspots in Milan, Munich, and Lisbon. More will follow soon in Rotterdam and Sydney later this year. As for the SEAT brand, sales reached more than 391,000 cars, which represents a slight decline of 2% against 2020, which again is attributed to the shortage of semiconductors. And we saw great demand for SEAT last year. The Arona, the company's bestseller, and the Ibiza led the SEAT brand sales. SEAT remained the market leader in our home market, Spain, for the 4th consecutive year and grew in other important markets such as France, Mexico, Turkey, and Israel. We launched the facelift of the SEAT Ibiza, the SEAT Arona, and the SEAT Tarraco e-hybrid, giving us, I think, the freshest range of SEAT models in our history. Overall, Cupra and SEAT electric hybrid vehicles quadrupled last year from 15,000 to 61,000 cars. And I think that this proves we're clearly responding to the increasing demand for electrified vehicles, that our electrified range is also resonating with our customers. Now, beyond our core business, we also extended our commitment to help society throughout the pandemic. We worked very closely with the government of Catalonia on the COVID-19 vaccination program, and today we at SEAT have administered more than 115,000 vaccines, covering both our employees and also the local community here in Barcelona and Catalonia. And by the way, during the pandemic, we turned Casa SEAT into a center of vaccination. I think the corona pandemic has demanded a lot from our workforce, and therefore at this point I'd like to say a few words of recognition for the great work of our 15,000 employees that they did last year. Gracias a todos por vuestro compromiso y flexibilidad para superar las dificultades que hemos tenido en un año tan difícil, marcado por la pandemia y la falta de semiconductores. Yo sé que podemos contar con todos vosotros para afrontar este año y la transformación de nuestra compañía con la misma determinación, energía y ilusión. Sois la clave del futuro y el impulso de nuestra compañía. I'm really proud of all of our achievements in 2021, but there's no denying that it was another year that put us under great pressure, and the external factors had a huge impact on our business. In a few moments, I will talk about how these challenges will continue to affect us this year, together with our strategic priorities for 2022 and the years to come. But before I look at the future, our Vice President for Finance and IT, David Powells, will now take you through last year's financial results in detail. David, the stage is yours.
Dear all, thank you for participating in today's event to share the challenges that we have faced over the past year, but more importantly, the progress that we are making in our business. Indeed, 2021 was a very difficult year, as you all know. And some of the major challenges we faced in 2021 and continue to face today are semiconductor related, are related to still effects of COVID-19, increasing commodity and energy prices, and generally a difficult and increasingly uncertain macroeconomic environment. Between 2017 and 2019, we made significant changes that laid the foundation for the future. We shaped the most complete SEAT range in our history and launched the Cupra brand, which, as Wayne has shown in 4 years, has demonstrated its tremendous potential. However, this progress we made from 2017 to 2019 was interrupted in 2020 by the COVID pandemic. In 2021, after learning to live with the negative effects of COVID, our plan was to return to profitability, but this was dramatically affected by another crisis, the shortage of semiconductors. This led to a loss of production volume, a negative impact on sales, and as a result, a negative operating result of 371 million euros. The results that you have seen in the previous charts are different from the ones presented by the Volkswagen Group in its press conference last week. What the VW Group presented last week was the SEAT Group result, which means from a consolidated point of view, a consolidated brand point of view. And this included the results of two of our subsidiaries, SEAT Deutschland and SEAT Deutschland Niederlassung. The result that I am showing today is the result only of SEAT SA, the single legal entity. And in addition, the result that we present today, we have to consider this result is in accordance with the Spanish accounting plan instead of the international accounting rules. This is important since some of the accounting rules between the two regimes differ slightly. Profit after taxes worsened compared to 2020, mainly because in 2021 we did not receive dividends from VW Navarra and VW Group Spain Distribution. And these dividends that we received in 2020 amounted to 98 million euros, which we did not receive in 2021. Due to the semiconductor shortage, we manufactured 125,000 or 25% less cars than we planned. The plan was based on the high demand for our cars. The car loss that occurred was mainly in high margin models with a negative profit effect of more than 600 million euros. And this loss of volume made the planned financial turnaround unachievable. However, it is worth mentioning that there were 4 months in 2021 where we had a positive profit after tax. And those are the months in which we had a somewhat improved availability of semiconductors. Although 2021 was a very challenging year with a full year loss, we made important progress. And let me share some positive trends. Firstly, our wholesale volume was 6,000 units higher than 2020, a 1.3% increase. But more importantly, our turnover was 472 million euros higher than 2020, which represented an increase of 5.4%. In simple terms, we increased our average sales revenue per vehicle sold by 480 euros versus 2020. The average revenue per vehicle has grown steadily over the past years, and in 2021 reached its highest ever level of 16,850 euros per car. The improvement from 2017 to 2021 was almost 2,600 euros additional sales revenue per vehicle sold. The main reason for this increase is our significantly improved portfolio. Our proportionality of SUVs, plug-in hybrids, and battery electric vehicles has increased step by step. Our model mix has significantly improved over the past years. If we go back to 2017, almost 30% of our sales were Ibizas, whereas in 2021, a significant part of these sales shifted to the Arona model with higher transaction prices. The Tarraco has also contributed since it was launched in 2018. And in 2020, we launched one of our most successful models, the Cupra Formentor, which in 2021 confirmed its sales potential and brought us a very positive impact in sales revenue. With respect to country mix, Germany, Spain, and the UK made a prominent contribution to our sales, being our three main markets as in previous years. Regarding globalization, we maintained exports at more than 80% of total sales as we did in 2020. SEAT SA is present in 74 countries around the world. And in 2021, we made the important strategic decision to enter the Australian market in 2022. The earnings before interest, tax, depreciation, and amortization were positive at 278 million euros and 121 million euros better, higher than 2020. And this is a significant positive development which shows the operational progress we are making. Cash flow remained positive at 378 million euros and corresponded to 4.1% of net sales. Net liquidity improved versus 2020, mainly due to stock reduction and other working capital improvements, but unfortunately still remain negative as in 2020. Despite the negative environment and the losses, we continued as an organization on our aggressive investment path. And in 2021, we invested more than 900 million euros in R&D and investment expenditures. In total, over the past 5 years, we have invested more than 5.4 billion euros, on average more than 1 billion euros per year. I would like to highlight that in 2021, our investments in R&D increased by 7% versus 2020. And this shows our strong and ongoing commitment to bring future products to the market. In addition, we continue to make significant investments in building the Cupra brand in the various markets. Sustainable, positive financial results, which what all companies are striving for, are driven by two things: by the volume and quality of sales on the one hand, and by the right level of cost efficiency on the other hand. Although 2021 was an extremely difficult year of lost volume opportunities due to the semiconductor crisis, we made, as a company, significant progress that is shown in several positive financial trends. And I'll just mention three from the chart. Net sales increased by 5.4%. Earnings before interest, tax, depreciation, and amortization increased by 77% versus 2020, and net liquidity improved by 21.5% versus 2020. But most importantly, we maintained our investments and our R&D and expenditures at more than 900 million euros in 2021. Our ongoing investment is a clear proof of our belief in our future, and particularly in our products. And one of the benefits of all the challenges of the past 2 years is that they have caused us to focus our attention even more strongly on the different levers which will build a more solid and sustainable financial structure in our company over time. The losses made in 2020 and 2021, based on reduced volumes, showed that structurally our break-even point is too high. Accordingly, we are working intensively in a targeted way on all key levers which will drive an improvement in our financial robustness. And these include improvements in our cost structures and efficiencies in all key processes and operations, as well as improvements in our revenue management. This includes a process of identifying and maximizing all possible synergies within the Volkswagen Group, within the Iberian Peninsula, and beyond. The good work carried out within the company in 2021 and the sustainable improvements that were implemented provide us with an even better foundation from which we can further develop our company in 2022 and beyond. 2022 must and will be the year of financial turnaround, and we are on the right path to profitability. Our transformation is accelerating. Before Wayne talks to you about the year ahead, let's take a look at what the SEAT brand represents today. Thank you.
So thank you very much, David. Now I'd like to take you through our strategic priorities for the coming years and highlight some of the challenges and opportunities that lie ahead. Now, a few weeks ago, I turned 56 years old, and for the first 53 years of my life, not much really changed in the automotive industry. We went from petrol to diesel, from manual to automatic, but all of these changes were gradual. And I think in the last 3 years, however, that we have seen the biggest transformation in the automotive industry in our whole history, with the electrification on the one hand and with digitalization on the other. And on top of this, at the same time, in the past 3 years, we have experienced some of the biggest crises since the Second World War. COVID, the semiconductor shortage, and now Russia's invasion of Ukraine. And these together have all created a perfect storm, which we're living in and fighting through. I've said before that right now, the only thing that's certain is that nothing's certain. And that this crisis mode will become, I believe, the new norm, and something we will have to learn to live with and operate in. Now, Russia's war on Ukraine is a human tragedy and by far my biggest concern, and I want to express my solidarity with all those affected. The Volkswagen Group is helping where possible, and we continue, as everybody does, to hope for a diplomatic resolution as soon as possible. Now, obviously, this war is affecting our business. Currently, the Martorell plant is operating, but already at a lower level due to the lack of semiconductors, and I think, unfortunately, will further be impacted by lack of essential parts from the Ukraine. Production of our electric vehicles in Germany, in the Zwickau plant, where the Cupra Born is manufactured, has been temporarily interrupted, and the production of the Seat Tarraco in Wolfsburg has also been put on hold due to a lack of parts from the Ukraine. However, what worries me most is if the price and supply of energy is further disrupted, this could hit our production even harder than the COVID or semiconductor shortage. Despite all the unpredictability in these crises, we only know one thing for sure. As David said, the company cannot be allowed to continue to make losses and has to turn back into profit. We need to take advantage of the crisis, I think, to accelerate our transformation and continue to drive the changes that are underway to ensure that we're more robust than ever. And we're working hard to increase our competitiveness by maximizing our mix, particularly Cupra, and to make more profit. We're also pulling down, as David mentioned, our break-even level while increasing synergies with the Volkswagen Group. However, there's still a lot more to do. We have to continue cooperating with our trade unions to find more flexible ways of working. And we need flexibility in both two ways. One, to be able to reduce production in times where we don't have the parts and have to reduce, but also at the same time when we do have parts to be able to maximize production when needed. And we will use all instruments such as temporary layoffs and ERTEs where necessary. If we want to reduce delivery times for our customers and improve our financial results, we can't carry on working the same way we have in the past. And now I'll revert to Spanish to speak directly to our employees. Tenemos que seguir buscando con los sindicatos más medidas de flexibilidad, no solo bajar o parar producción cuando faltan piezas, sino maximarla cuando llegan los materiales. Nuestro futuro se basa en la flexibilidad y la capacidad de anticiparnos buscando oportunidades juntos. La transformación es el único camino. Now, to face these challenging times, we have a bold strategy with 4 priorities at its core. The electrification of our company, the Cupra growth strategy, strengthening our business model, and transforming our organization for the future. And today I'd like to talk in more detail about the first 2 key priorities in my view, the electrification of our company and the Cupra growth plan. Now, some see the electric car as a risk to employment because it requires fewer manufacturing hours to produce. However, I see it as an historic opportunity that we cannot afford to miss. We know the future is electric and that Spain's electric transformation has to happen now. There is no plan B. Or as I like to say, tenemos que salir a ganar. We have to go out to win. Just over 5 years ago, when I arrived at SEAT, electrification wasn't even on the agenda. But these recent crises have accelerated the company's electric transformation by at least 10 years. I think it's a huge opportunity that I would have not dreamt back then. And with Future Fast Forward, F3 as we call it, I think we have a unique opportunity and a unique chance to take this transformation even further to benefit not only Spain but also Europe. And this is more than a project of recovery or recuperación. I think companies who try to maintain their status quo or just to return where they were or cling to the past will fail. Companies, however, who have the ambition and the courage to embrace the transformation will be those that succeed. With this project, we will transform our company, and I believe the entire Spanish automotive industry, to build a new future. A Future Fast Forward is a key milestone, not only for SEAT, Spain, and for the strategic plan of the Volkswagen Group in Europe towards electrification and sustainability. As Thomas Schmal said, if comprehensive investment support of the PERTE program is finally confirmed, the group will be ready to mobilize more than 7 billion euros for Spain. And this would be the single largest industrial investment in the country's history. It would bring us opportunities and also an enormous responsibility to our company. However, we all take this responsibility very seriously. However, we can't do this on our own. To achieve our goal of transforming Spain into a leading European hub for electric mobility, we will require commitment and effort on all sides. We rely on the support of the Spanish government through the PERTE and the regions, through aid programs and funds. To be a credible leader in electric mobility, Spain needs to improve its electric vehicle sales. At the end of 2021, the penetration of electric vehicles in Spain was only 8%, while the European average was around 20%. We need to be at the top of this list, not at the bottom. To stimulate demand for electrified vehicles, the country must accelerate both its charging infrastructure and also its incentive programs. The changes to the infrastructure and the plans for the infrastructure need to start right now in our biggest cities in Spain. Electric vehicle production is at the core of the Future Fast Forward project, and our ambition is to build electric vehicles at the Material plant from 2025 onwards. If we receive the PERTE funds, SEAT will lead the small BEV project for the Volkswagen Group. Volkswagen would be responsible for the technology and the platform, and the cars would be developed and produced at our plant in Material and the Volkswagen Group's plant in Pamplona. Now, this is the first time that our company in its history has led a project of this magnitude. This family of cars, this family of small BEV, will help to democratize mobility, making electric vehicles more accessible and affordable in Europe. We will be a key player in this process and potentially eligible for new projects in Material. By basing more of our value chain here in Spain, we would be less vulnerable to the sourcing problems we continue to experience over the last years. And also, it would be more environmentally sustainable and help us reach our target of reducing CO2 emissions across the life cycle of our products by 50% until 2030. Now, of course, there will be challenges, but I believe the opportunities for us are far greater. As Thomas Schmal said, the overall effect on employment out of this project would be positive at Spanish level. Through this project, we also want to be an active contributor to the next generation here in Spain and would invest heavily in training our workforce to prepare them for an electric world. The recent announcement that Extremadura will host the first European Battery Academy training program is great news, and we should have more of this here in Spain. Now I turn to the second key priority for the future and sustainability of our company, the growth strategy of Cupra. We see our new brand Cupra as the lever to improve profitability, but we must put all our efforts behind the growth of this very young brand. Since 2018, and despite the crisis we've faced, Cupra has sold over 135,000 vehicles in total. And I'm a very ambitious guy, and I never doubted our brand, but our results have exceeded my dreams, particularly in the middle of this perfect storm. We faced COVID, we faced the semiconductor shortage, and we faced our doubters. But the Cupra tribe always goes out to win, and despite the odds, I think we've surpassed all expectations. I'm very proud of Cupra's success during these last 4 years, both in terms of sales, but particularly in terms of brand development and brand recognition, with a great response we've received from the press, the industry, and of course from our customers. A month ago, at our 4th Cupra anniversary, we announced Cupra's ambition to take the brand and our emotional experiences much further. We will continue this incredible growth trend with Cupra this year by doubling our sales, and our sales network will also double, as well as our turnover to achieve a possible 5 billion euro of turnover. And of course, we also have big plans to expand our lineup of vehicles, with 4 new models soon joining the Cupra range. The Cupra Tavascan, the Cupra Urban Rebel, and today I'd like to give you a teaser of one of the 2 additional models. Now, I know that was really a teaser. I would have liked to have been able to reveal more, but we have to keep some things still secret. But we wanted to show you today that this new model will become reality and is an electrified SUV with mild hybrid and plug-in hybrid technology that will be produced together with the Audi Q3 Sportback in Hungary. with an all-electric range of 100 kilometers, I think it will lead a new generation of plug-in hybrids. Our commitment to Cupra is clear. Cupra is transforming SEAT's position in the market, spearheading its global expansion. And for me, it's really important. Cupra is not the end of SEAT. Cupra gives SEAT a future, and the future is electric. The future is Cupra. To wrap up, I want to say that I'm an optimist by nature, and I believe that despite the challenges we face, with our will, with our determination, we can find the opportunity in any crisis. Future Fast Forward presents us with a unique chance to transform our company, the Spanish automotive industry, and the country's economy. We cannot afford to let this moment pass us by, not for us and not for the next generations to come. Thank you very much for your time today and for joining us. I'm sure many of you have questions for both David and myself, and we're looking forward to answering them in a few moments. But before we do, here's another reminder of why Cupra has become the success it is.